Yes, I am afraid that Sir Marcus is dead.
I can't believe it. We were only just talking. Oh, Marcus.
Is there anything that I can do, me lady?
No, Rowbottom. Nothing. Thank you.
Oh, Father. I can't believe it.
You would, my dear, if you had this.
And what is that, Caroline?
Marcus's nightcap, mixed with deadly nightshade. It was beside his bed.
He always had a nightcap before retiring for the night.
And poisoned. Surely you're mistaken?
Do you mean suicide? Or do you mean that he was murdered?
And what about this then? I found it pushed into the ivy outside Marcus's bedroom window. Deadly nightshade.
I can't believe that Daddy was murdered.
Miss Shepherd, please.
Rowbottom. Not now.
Excuse me, me lady, but this is important.
Let him speak. What is it that is so important?
Miss Shepherd, I was in my room, preparing to go downstairs again, when I heard a voice. It was outside, in the corridor, and I believe it was Miss Bryony. She was saying, "Hurry up before you get found out."
What is the matter with you, Rowbottom? Are you trying to cause trouble?
Please, Bryony. Just tell them all. It will all come out in the end.
If you must know, I was talking to Stephen. He had sneaked into the house and up to my room to be with me. He's gone home now, to his parents' house. Daddy would have had a fit if he had found him. Oh, poor Daddy.
So that is why I was asked to turn the alarm back on at 11:20.
Bryony wasn't the only one wandering about late at night. Was she, Cynthia?
What do you mean?
Have you never left a door ajar at night, Cynthia? Come on, a woman of the world like you.
Carolyn. Really? Mummy couldn't possibly have done anything to harm Daddy.
Thank you, Bryony. Yes, I did pop into Marcus's room, just to say good night. I wanted to make sure. I mean, he had been feeling a little poorly. He thought it must have been something he'd eaten. He was about to go downstairs to get himself something for his stomach and get a book to read.
Did you have it all? Wasn't that what you said, Cynthia?
Yes, the ham, of course. Marcus knows he shouldn't. Oh, poor man.
There was someone, I believed to be Sir Marcus, in this sitting room. I was outside at the time, Miss Shepherd, just completing the 11 o'clock evening security patrol, when I saw the downstairs lights come on. It was between 11:15 and 11:20 when I saw him. I'm sorry, Miss Bryony.
What on earth are you talking about, Rowbottom?
Come on, Rowbottom. Please, tell us who you saw. Now.
It was Stephen Goodridge, me lady. He was climbing the drain pipe up to Miss Bryony's room.
That's just not possible.
And you say that this was between 11:15 and 11:20, Rowbottom?
Yes, Miss Shepherd. I decided to turn a blind eye, as they say. None of my business, and not my place to say. Begging your pardon, me lady, I returned from checking the outhouses between 11:25 and 11:30. Then, I walked back to the bedroom corridor after I had switched the alarm back on.
Then you went back to your bedroom?
Yes, but not before I had noticed something rather strange.
What do you mean, strange?
I'd checked that the central heating was on, but I couldn't help noticing how cold it was, down at Sir Marcus's end of the corridor.
Hello, all waiting up for me. Wonderful. Managed to get the last train from Paddington and a taxi from the... I say, no need to be like that. What's happened?
Marcus is dead, Nigel.
This is madness. I was only with him.
Murdered, I'm afraid, Nigel.
Can I sit down? Marcus murdered I don't understand.
There are a few of us in that position, Nigel. So, I think it's time for a few home truths. We know that Sir Marcus is dead. But how did he die? And who killed him? That is the puzzle.
But, can you help us find the solution, Caroline?
Yes, I think I can, by looking at each of us in turn, and the possible motives. Firstly, Rowbottom. The downtrodden butler, who endured Marcus's taunts. Were you really reading Murder on the Orient Express? Or Nigel, the younger brother? How sweet to claim his home and his wife.
But, that's all over, Caroline. I can assure you.
I think that you are going too far, Miss Shepherd.
But so convenient. With tiresome Marcus gone. So that Cynthia, Nigel, and Bryony could now be one happy family. At last.
And what about you, Miss Shepherd? A woman, spurned by her lover, seeing her life passing her by, and in possession of, certain facts.
Ridiculous. Where was I? Yeah, Miss Bryony. Thwarted in her theatrical ambitions and in fear of being disinherited. Your Stephen had no doubt told you of the rumours going round the village. If your father found out that you were not his child, what could you do?
Yes. He was always boasting about how many children he had fathered.
And how many women had fallen under his spell.
It could, of course, have been suicide.
Yes, that is true. Marcus did have money worries.
Well, he hasn't got them now. Suicide. Wouldn't that be the ideal solution? It lets us all off the hook. But is it the answer? Thank you for your patience, everybody. It has taken me a little while, but I do believe that I have solved our murder mystery.
Let's hear it then, Caroline. People's reputations are at risk here.
Right then, let me begin with the deceased's brother, Nigel.
Why me? I wasn't even here.
That's right, he wasn't here.
Oh, let her get on with it.
Thank you. Nigel certainly had the motive. He envied his brother's title and estate. He also resented Marcus's overbearing manner.
That may be true, but it's not enough of a motive to murder him.
These feelings were not helped when he fell in love for a second time with Marcus's wife, Cynthia. 5 years ago, Nigel was barred from Trumpington Manor by his jealous brother.
But all that has been over for a long time.
Has it, Nigel? Is that true, Cynthia? Can you deny it?
Leave Mummy alone. This is beastly.
I have nothing to say on the matter.
The truth of the matter is that his relationship has continued without her husband's knowledge. Or has it? Was Marcus going to use the occasion of his birthday to denounce his brother Nigel?
I very much doubt it, Caroline.
And admit to the world that his marriage was over.
But this is completely ridiculous. How could it possibly be me? I was at the House of Commons and involved in a very important vote.
Yes, Nigel rang to say that he might not make it back tonight.
Yes, of course, Nigel. But what about Marcus's intelligent young daughter, Bryony? A very unlikely suspect, as she knew she would inherit Trumpington Manor in due time.
Well, at least you've got something right.
But there was motive and opportunity. Weren't your theatrical ambitions completely dashed by your father's attitude towards you?
But Uncle Nigel would have helped me out.
Yes, I'm sure he would.
Ah yes, your good old Uncle Nigel, who is actually your father. He could help you with money, but not with your inheritance. It was only a matter of time before Marcus discovered the true identity of your father. Marcus also has a son who would make a more acceptable heir, as you know. That information was confirmed by the letter you dropped.
Yes, but everyone knows that I couldn't ever do any harm to father.
What about your eagerness to have your boyfriend come round tonight? Dear Stephen, who's run off home to Mummy and Daddy.
I heard the words myself. Hurry up before you get found out.
This is stupid, Caroline. I just wanted Stephen to avoid getting caught.
That fact does not change anything. Marcus was going to tell this to the world at his birthday party. Why else would he have invited me? But to the second, Banquo's fate. A title, no, but children great. It all fits. Your true father, Nigel, would not inherit the title, but you, his daughter, would, and with a fawning boyfriend to act on your behalf.
Leave the poor child alone. How could she murder someone she has regarded as a parent for so many years? And why would she, with her whole life in front of her?
The same could be said of someone who has risen to the ranks of Chief Inspector, but has harbored a certain bitterness towards her former lover.
Your ideas are completely outmoded, Rowbottom. A woman doesn't need a husband and a family to be fulfilled these days. How very quaint.
Quaint, indeed. But I heard from your own lips that you felt bitter and betrayed by your former lover. Murdering Marcus would certainly settle old scores.
Pure fantasy on your part.
But I found you, rummaging through Sir Marcus's private papers, miss. You had found, and read, his redrafted will.
Caroline. How could you?
I say, Miss Shepherd.
Yes, Miss Shepherd, but I also have a key. I have also read the will, the redrafted will. Should I tell them, Miss Shepherd, or will you?
If you think that you know so much, go ahead then. Tell them.
Sir Marcus had promised to leave you a substantial amount of money, miss, so you could spend your early retirement in the lap of luxury. But you read his redrafted will, only to discover that he was leaving you precisely nothing.
I can hardly believe it.
Good grief, Cynthia.
Am I the prime suspect now? What about you, Rowbottom, my accuser? The loyal and downtrodden servant who accepts abuse and vilification because he is too simple or too cowed to fight back. Is that really the case?
I am sure I do my best, Miss Shepherd.
Yes, he really does.
Do you really do your best? The man who, under the pseudonym of Tom Boter, is the author of Dukes and Duchesses.
I half suspected that he was the same Arnold Rowbottom who won my college prize for English in 1979.
What evidence do you have to prove this?
Friends at the BBC, Arnold P. Rowbottom, M.A.
There, you see, I was right.
But it still doesn't make me the murderer.
Of course not. But how about blackmail, Cynthia?
This is absurd.
Is it? Bryony could have told you of his double life, and you could have used this to make him party to a plot to kill your husband.
I find that idea even more absurd, Caroline.
And Rowbottom, do you find murder on the Orient Express enthralling bedtime reading? Or should we say herbs and their secrets?
Personally, I find the whole thing quite preposterous. I can't really believe that anyone here would want to murder Marcus. He was held in great affection by us all.
So, what is your solution, Nigel? A masked intruder?
That's a possibility, but Marcus's money worries made him very depressed.
Yes, that's true. I can vouch for that.
What a neat conclusion. Sir Marcus Hetherington Smythe, Lord of the Manor, brought low by money worries, so he simply does away with himself.
Further would never have done such a thing. I know that he wouldn't.
You're absolutely right, Bryony. Sir Marcus did complain of financial difficulties, but he was never a defeatist. Why would anyone committing suicide first give themselves a taste of poison just to savor the feeling, and then finish the job later?
I can't see what you're getting at, Caroline.
Sir Marcus died of poisoning after surviving an attempt that went wrong. Lady Cynthia, you have never been a great herbalist, have you?
Me? Why do you ask?
Because, even with the aid of blackmail Rowbottom, you couldn't go through with it. But, what if another hand intervened?
And what proof do you have?
Rowbottom watered down the potion to save you from becoming a murderer. With Sir Marcus still alive, he could then become the blackmailer himself.
Complete and utter rubbish.
Really? My contacts at the News of the World would suggest otherwise.
All well and good, but some of us have business to attend to.
Please bear with me a little longer, Nigel. If the watered-down potion was given to your brother between 10 and 10:30, then the fatal dose must have been administered at about 11:30, so he died before midnight.
I was on a train from London at the time, so it couldn't have been me.
And where were you, Bryony?
I was in my room. With Stephen.
And you, Rowbottom?
I was just returning from my patrol.
Try again, Rowbottom, and tell the truth this time.
Actually, I was in Lady Cynthia's room.
Informing her, no doubt, that yours was the hand that intervened. One can hear quite well from the balcony, even with the windows closed.
And I was on the train, so it must have been suicide. Can we all go now?
Perhaps the greater guilt is mine. Thinking that I could hear better through Lady Cynthia's bedroom door, I went into the corridor.
How very persistent of you, Caroline.
It was then that I heard sounds coming from Sir Marcus's bedroom. I went in to find the window open. Foolishly, I closed it and returned to my room, just as Sir Marcus was coming up the stairs to return to his bed.
So, you didn't see anything?
No, Nigel, I saw you. You were fleeing the scene of the crime. You had left the window open in your haste to shin down the drain pipe.
This is all nonsense.
The figure Rowbottom saw climbing the drain pipe was not Stephen, but you, Nigel. You had left the Commons before the crucial vote.
I would find this laughable if it wasn't so pathetic.
Bryony, you've been very quiet. How did Stephen get into the house?
I'm so sorry, Uncle Nigel. I didn't want to say anything, but I must tell the truth. Stephen came in through the back door.
It was the window he had left open that made the end of the corridor feel cold.
I knew I wasn't wrong about the temperature in the corridor outside Sir Marcus's bedroom.
Nigel heard Cynthia arrange for the alarm to be turned off for Bryony's boyfriend. When Cynthia refused to take his telephone call, he panicked and returned from the Commons early to make sure the deed was done.
There is no chance that this would stand up in a court of law.
Rowbottom has told me what you said over the phone, Nigel. You rang to tell Cynthia to go ahead without you, as you wouldn't be back to take responsibility. Rowbottom said it was a bad line, not realizing that Nigel was ringing from his brother's missing mobile phone.
But why would we go to all this trouble? We could have murdered Marcus at any time if we had wanted to.
Because you discovered, reading through Marcus's correspondence, that he was going to use his birthday to announce that he had changed his will. A telephone call to his solicitors, overheard by Cynthia and confirmed by my good friend Rowbottom, confirmed this fact.
And I trusted your discretion, Rowbottom.
You had plotted very carefully with Cynthia, Nigel. But in the end, you resolved to frame your accomplice, thereby leaving the title and the estate in the possession of yourself and your daughter, Bryony.
Nigel, please say that none of this is true. Caroline, you have gone too far.
Have I, Cynthia dear? Well, thanks to Rowbottom, maybe Nigel can tell you why. He has 2 return tickets to the Bahamas in his jacket pocket in the names of Nigel Hetherington Smythe and Virginia Blackstone.
That painted trollop, Nigel? But why?
Cynthia, darling, I'm sure that I can explain everything.
With your testimony, Cynthia, and that of Rowbottom, Nigel will spend a very, very long time in prison. Nigel Hetherington Smythe, uniformed officers, are on their way, and will be here shortly.